So the Thrush Holmes, talk about it.
Thrush is pretty important to me and my collection because it's actually one of the two pieces that I started my collection with. And it symbolizes my first home purchase. So I wanted to do a play on black and white, and I have a huge original Retna piece that's black and white that I also purchased around the same time. But I put it at the front door basically because you know, Thrush is huge on neons, and it sets the tone, it sets the energy for your house, and it lets people know exactly the mindset you had when you made that purchase.
So Dre, where's your TV?
It's crazy you ask that because that is the constant question that I get every time. I literally designed this home for this to be the formal living room area, the formal seating area. But of course, if I'm hosting people here, then I do have a TV, but normally I'm in my movie room watching TV. But a lot of people always ask that question, and the TV is behind the artwork. But yeah, I don't see this room as a TV room, as a typical living room. I see this as somewhere that it's just another piece of art. It goes off of the Thrush piece. It sets the tone of my home, and it helps me express myself because I have art books, I have little accent pieces, and that room growing up that you never touch, and that's what this room is supposed to be. This Chanel rocket, obviously my love for fashion, like I said earlier, also my love for interior design. I feel like fashion, art, interior design work hand in hand, but that doesn't mean that my style is your style and your style should be my style. But this rocket symbolizes that for me. You know, is the art and fashion and interior design coming hand in hand and clashing with one another and showing who I am through my art. So I built this little nook. Obviously this wasn't here. So I built a platform, and it was based around this particular piece of art. You know, if I move, then I'm gonna have to figure it out. Retna is pretty influential because I spent 6 years in LA, and obviously he's very well known. He's everywhere in LA, and for me, it just reflects my time in LA. And when I moved into my home, I knew I needed a piece. And you know, Retna has like Thrush as well. He has a ton of colorful pieces, but along with the Thrush, they worked hand in hand. I wanted black and white, so that's how I decided on this one. Obviously, it's a huge piece, and it actually fits this space perfect because it is an original Retna. It's from Retna, and I told him exactly what size I needed. So that's special for me, and it just symbolizes the time that I spent in LA and what LA meant to me and what it brought to me in my life. You know, it helped me grow, it helped me develop, and that's that. When I see this piece, I just remember my time in LA.
What led you to start collecting art? Were you playing at the time?
Yeah, I think as I got into the NFL, I obviously became richer than I ever was in my life, and I'm constantly trying to evolve. And now is like, what's next? What else is there to do? Now we look at things to invest in, and art just happens to be one of those things that you graduate from shoes and you basketball or football cards or baseball cards, and you collect jerseys as an athlete, but it's not many people who collect art that play sports. But that's where I wanted to educate myself, and I wanted to understand that realm more, and I wanted to also evolve.
So Adam Rabinowitz, an amazing dude, great talent. Obviously I'm keen on him, but shared him with you, and I think he struck, something in you that wanted him in your collection. But yeah, go ahead.
I think, well, one, Adam is one of the newer artists that I've purchased. He's not the newest, but one of the newer ones. These two actually, they're on denim, and my love for fashion reflects that, so that also drew me. But the colors that he played with on these works are impeccable. Also, they go with everything that I have in my house, with the 𝘎𝙧𝙖𝙧 blue plates, and the blue and the Matt McCormick, the green couch, the everything. I have yellow and a bear brick. So for me, it was just a splash of color that I needed on an empty wall, and it popped it, man. So Adam does great work. He had these two, and I fell in love with them. You have probably 1 trillion of these plates. That's probably why 𝘎𝙧𝙧𝙧 doesn't have any more, because you have them all. But like I said, you have a ton of these, and I picked these 3 particular ones because these are the things that interest me. I love beautiful women. I love a great tequila, and they reflect my life. They reflect what I like to do. I think the blue and white, that's who 𝘎𝙧𝙧𝙧 is, and these plates are legendary. I like having a good glass of tequila, a good glass of wine, or a good cocktail. So that was important to me. And I live in Miami. I've lived in LA in the past, and they have their fair share of beautiful women, and yeah, those are things that I like.
So collecting. Obviously, we're both men who like to collect all sorts of, some people would call it hoarding.
Yeah.
We call it collecting.
Yeah.
Because I think, there has to be integrity within that. I think that's what really differentiates hoarding versus collecting.
Yeah.
And within each passion, with each realm, there's an expertise to it. So this is a really cool example. Everyone has tequila in their house, but obviously show them your special 1942 bottle.
So this 1942 bottle is the first ever 1942 bottle. You probably have never even seen this logo, And for me, I drank 1942. I drank Clase Azul. I drank Casa Dragones. I drank every type of tequila there is, and I love tequila tastings. But these bottles right here are for special moments, and just having the first ever bottle of 1942 with this label and this, I don't even know what type of top this is, but for this to even be in my home is special for me, because this takes effort, and I'm constantly looking for bottles that aren't supposed to be opened and are just supposed to be enjoyed with the eye, and that's what my house is. I just have little hints of everything, just like with the KAWS statues. People have that, but people just hoard it. And for me, it's an accent piece in my home, and it ties everything in together.
So I feel like, obviously, you're an athlete, whether you're on the field or off the field, especially in terms of discipline and mentality. I think this is a reflection of swag being also internal, kind of about well-being equally as much, you know. It's aesthetics, so it's both inside and out, though. We're here showing your house, which is not something that you necessarily, you did to show the outside world. So I think this is like an interior reflection even more so on that this is, you know, you pay as much detail to your body, to your style, to your work as in everything. And I think, you know, the discipline you have as an athlete taught you to approach everything in that light, to not do things half-ass and to do things thought through and meticulously.
Yeah, I got this room as my spa room because I know how important it is to take care of your body, and I know how important it is to have a regimen, have a routine, and have structure in your life. I still think as an athlete, even though I'm retired and I'm done playing, sports gave me everything. It gave me all this. So, and it gave me an opportunity to invest and to collect in the finer things. You know, everybody knows who KAWS is, no matter if you're 80 or you're 8 years old. But I got this before, like the buzz now. This guy is through the roof. Obviously, I loved art. I love contemporary art, pop art, however you want to say it. But at the same time, this little guy right here is another one of my first purchases when it came to my collection. And throughout my home, I have pops of KAWS everywhere, and I'm looking to add more. But yeah, he's in a perfect place. He protects the home, he holds it down.
Tell us a little bit about 𝘎𝙗𝗟𝗟𝗘𝗖.
Obviously, you know 𝘎𝙗𝗟𝗟𝗘𝗖 an African-American artist, so I'm starting to look into a lot of African-American artists, and as he grows, his name is buzzing, and his prints here are dope, and I knew I just needed a Hebrew piece, and he came out with this collection, I want to say 4 years ago. 𝘎𝙗𝗟𝗟𝗘𝗖 is an iconic African-American artist out of Chicago. He does dope stuff with like astro cartoons and space cartoons, and that basically was my childhood. So when I look at his stuff, it just brings me back to my childhood and the things that interest me during my childhood. And so it's dope, man.
So Young Jake.
Young Jake, actually, I saw in a friend of mine's house, and I absolutely fell in love with it. This colorway he comes out with, I don't know, Matt, you can correct me. He comes out with a few colors. I think when we were looking into Young Jake, he sent us like 6 or 7 different colorways, and this colorway is the one that I love because that was the colors that I had in my last home, but obviously it's fitting still because of the colors of the walls that I have. But Young Jake, man, he caught my eye right away, and if you can do that, then you got.
What does style mean to you?
That's a good question. Style to me is all about individualism. And it's just like what I said about how you choose art, and it's the same as how you choose your outfit. No one can tell you that you're wrong for what you put on if you chose that, because you're the leader in your life. But you're wrong if you dress like somebody else, or you just constantly chasing a trend, because now you're not being your own leader, you're just following. And I never ever wanted to be a follower. I always wanted to learn, and I always wanted to be myself. You know, I always used to get, I wouldn't say picked on, because I always held my own with that, but called out oh, you got some skinny jeans on when people were wearing baggy clothes, and now you see that's what the trend is, skinny jeans. I like to say I was ahead of my time with how I dress, and I never tried to follow anybody else with how I dress. I like to learn what the next move is, and also show people that you can step outside the box and you can be who you want to be and express yourself through your clothing.